You, yes, you, watch this video before you go out on that first date and thank me later. Hello beautiful people, my name is Chisimdi, and if this is your first time stopping by, please do join the family by subscribing. And if you're already subscribed, you are the best. Okay, so I want to start this series called Dear Girl, right? And it's just going to be about me sharing certain life lessons that I've learned based off of personal experience and just experiences that I've encountered in general concerning life. So the series is geared towards helping girls in their 20s, before their 20s, or even girls that have gone past their 20s, to make certain right decisions. And I would say right decisions because I believe that if I had made those decisions, I wouldn't have found myself in certain situations that I eventually got into, right? So I'll just say that it will help girls make certain decisions, or certain smart decisions that would save them from a lot of issues and a lot of problems in life in general. And I also want to make this like a learning, it's not going to be a one-sided thing. I also want to learn from you as you'll be learning from me. Okay, so without further ado, let's just get right into the video. Today's topic is things that you should put into consideration before going out on a first date. So now I have my points here, which I'm just going to be sharing with you. Okay, so the first point I'm going to make is make sure that your date, someone in your life, knows that person a lot more personally than you do. Be it maybe your brother's friend, your sister's friend, or your friend's brother, just someone, so that you can have someone that you can ask questions about the person, so you can get to know who you're dealing with, right? I'm going to give you an example with my worst date experience, right? I met this guy at a bank. You know, he's like a banker, right? So he asked me for my number, and then we later went out that evening. The same day I met him earlier in the day, we went out in the evening, right? So after the date, he wanted us to, I couldn't go back to because I was in uni then, I couldn't go back to my hostel because the hostel gates were closed. So he now offered that I come to his house, and I declined because I wasn't going to go to someone's house I just met on the first date. Like, that's just not me. So I told him I wasn't going to go. So he got really disappointed. You know, I even got he was just more or less disappointed, right? And he got disappointed to a point where he almost kidnapped me. He literally almost kidnapped me. Like, I had to literally jump out of his moving car to save my life. I don't know where he was taking me at some point, but he was supposed to be taking me back to my hostel or back to my friend's place. At a point, he just started turning the car around. I told him to stop because I didn't want to go again. He did not stop. He literally just continued going without saying a word to me. He wasn't even trying to explain to me where he was going, where he was taking me. So at that point, I just had to jump out of his car, right? So I mean, if you want a proper story time on how this whole thing happened, I can give it. If you want the story time, I can just let me know in the comment section. I can give you a whole video on how this happened, because if I try to do it now, this video is not going to it's going to be up to 30 minutes, and I definitely don't want to make a video that nobody will be interested in watching. So if you're interested in just getting to know how that happened, just let me know in the comment section. But yes, my mistake was I did not know any other person than this person. I did not know who to ask about this person. All I knew was that he was a banker, and in my head I was like, oh, he's a banker now, he's probably a responsible guy, you know, he has a good job, and you know, he's doing well for himself, so why not, right? But it never really works that way. And I'm not saying it's a guarantee that if you know someone that knows another person, that the person cannot be a crazy person, but there's some sort of consolation, there's some sort of comfort when you know somebody else that knows the person that you're going out on a date with, just for safety reasons and every other thing in between. So just make sure that someone else knows the person you're going out on this first date with a lot more than you do. Okay, so my next point is geared towards the girls, right? Most times we girls are the ones that have the most to lose, if I'm being honest, right? I'm not even trying to say anything. We most times have are the ones that have the most to lose. So first of all, make sure that the location you're going to, the restaurant you're going to, wherever it is you're going to, make sure that you're the one that picks it out. Don't be forming, oh, let him be romantic and just plan the whole date. No, this is the first date. Make sure that you're the one that picks out the location, right? And then this will lead me to the next point. Make sure that that area that you want to go to, you're a bit conversant with it. So even if you don't live in that area, make sure that maybe one person you know lives within that area. So if anything happens, if you have to leave, you know exactly where you should go to. You're not, scampering, looking here and there. You know where you can go to if you need to leave that date for any reason whatsoever. So as I said, make sure that you are the one that picks out the location, and make sure that you're very, very conversant with that particular area. Okay, so my next point is, now that you've picked out the location, make sure you share your live location with someone. Share your live location with your friends, your sister, anybody that you just want to share the location with. Especially if he's the one if the date is going to come and pick you from where you are. So once you get into the car, share your live location. Once you get to the location, share every detail. Let someone know the restaurant. Let someone know wherever you're going to. Let someone know the place. And let someone have your live location wherever you are. Because things are happening in this world right now. So you have to be as safe as you can possibly be, right? So make sure that you share your live location with someone. In my situation, I did not share anything with anybody. In fact, I don't even think my friends knew exactly where I was going to. They only knew the person I was going out with, and that was more or less it. In fact, they didn't even know him personally. Nobody around me knew that guy personally. Nobody around me knew him personally, but they knew the bank that I met him in, right? So, but I mean, that's never enough. So just make sure that you share your live location. So my next point is, make sure that you let someone know who you're going out with. If you can get his full government name, his address, his date of birth, his father's name, his village people, anything that you can just lay your hands on that is information about this person, make sure that you share that information with someone that really cares about you. You don't want to go ahead and go out with a total stranger and nobody knows who the person is. If anything happens, who are we going to ask? Where are we going? We don't even know his full name. Get as much personal information as you can possibly get on this your first date and share it with someone. Don't sometimes people will be trying to say, oh, I don't want anybody to know my man. Somebody should know your man. Most of the time, nobody wants to steal your man, right? Let somebody know your man. Let somebody know the date you're going out with. Let somebody know his name. Let somebody know something about him, his house, his address, whatever it is you can share, because things are happening. Okay, so my next point is, go out at a reasonable time. That was the mistake I made on that date I went on. I did not go out at a reasonable time. And I'm saying go out at a reasonable time, especially if it's your first date. You don't want to have an issue with someone and then you cannot leave, maybe because it's the middle of the night or it's too late for you to start going on your own. So make sure that you go out at a reasonable time, especially on your own. Okay, so this now leads me to my next point. Stand your ground. In my situation, he was trying to convince me to come over to his house, but I'm like, that's not going to work. That's not who I am. If you're going to do it on your own will, on your own terms. But whatever it is that you want to do, stand your ground and stand on it. Don't allow anything push your mind. Don't let him convince you or persuade you, because most times we always regret it. When we are pushed or coerced into doing certain things that we don't want to do, we always regret it. So make sure that you stand your ground. Don't allow anybody push you around. If you don't want to do this, you don't want to do this. If he has a problem with it, that's his business. If he wants to cry, he should cry. If he wants to faint, he should faint. But make sure you stand your ground. Don't allow anybody to push you around, especially on a first date. Especially on the first date, you don't owe him anything at that point. So why would you don't owe him anything? So please make sure you stand your ground. He should know what you want and what you take and what you cannot take, especially on that first date. That is when you even need to get to know the kind of person you are, so he can put himself in check when it comes to certain things. So my next point is, always be confident and assertive. Be confident. See, he's not doing you a favor by coming to take you out. Both of you are doing yourselves favors. You're spending time there. Whether he's coming to buy you heaven and earth or whether he's bringing gifts, that is nothing. Your time is more than everything. Time is precious. Time is money. So you're taking out time to come and meet this person. nobody is doing it. You are both doing yourselves favors at the end of the day. So be confident. Don't act like, okay, I owe him something, because no, you don't owe nothing. Confidence sometimes is even very, very attractive, because you know that whoever you're dealing with is not a pushover. So make sure that you are confident at all times when you're going out on this first date, especially. The next point I'm going to make is take action. Don't say my hands are tied, like you know who. If you're in Nigeria, your hands are not tied. There's something you can do, right? In my own situation, jumping out of the car was a bit too drastic, or a bit too dramatic, or a bit too dangerous. But whatever you can do in any situation to remove yourself from a very horrible situation, or just do it. Try as much as possible to do it. And this will lead me to my next point, which is have a backup plan and also have enough money. Have a backup plan, right? Have a plan B. First dates can either open the gates for more dates or end dates at that moment. So you should be thinking about the worst case scenario if you're going out on the first date. That's the first thing, right? So you should have a backup plan. For me, I didn't have a backup plan immediately, but when he started trying to waste my time, I already started thinking of the next place to go to, because I wasn't going to go to his house. I wasn't going to be so stranded in a way that, oh my god, I have to eventually end up in his house. No, I started thinking, and I eventually decided to tell him to drop me in my friend's house, and it was a problem for him, right? So make sure that you have a backup plan and have extra money, or have enough money to, if you're going, that's why I said you should pick the location, because if you pick out the restaurant, you can go through the menus, so you know if it's somewhere that you can afford. Make sure it's somewhere that you can afford. Or don't allow anybody to insult you because of 5,000 naira, or even if it's 100,000 naira. Don't allow anybody to insult you. Have your money down. Make sure you pick a place that's even close to uni. Make sure you have your vex money, so that and make sure it's somewhere that's close to your house, because if he wants to vex you, you can easily pay. If you use Uber or Uber Go, whatever it is, you can easily pay the cheap version of it and be going to your house. Pay for your food and be going to your house. There's no forming, there's no nothing, especially on the first date. Make sure that you are the one, you have a backup plan, and make sure that you have extra money with you. Don't take nonsense. Don't give room for anybody to insult you, because it's even the way you present yourself on the first date. That is the way the person can continue to see you as time goes on. So make sure you make a very good first impression, and do not take nonsense. Do not take nonsense. So now this will lead me to my last and final point. Based off of the Christian that I am, I would say God knows best. So put God in this situation, right? So if you're going out on a date with person A, say, God, I'm going out with person A. Please call his name in the prayer. Say, God, I'm going out with this person. If this date is supposed to work, let everything go smoothly. If it's not going to work, as I'm ironing my clothes that I'm going to use and go to that place, let it burn. Let something just happen to it. Let his car break down. Let my car break down. Let it start raining. Let something just not work for me to go out on this date if it's not meant to be. It's not you being dramatic. It's not you being desperate. It's just you making sure that you are safe and everything works well and goes smoothly in general. So please do put God first. Despite the fact that I've brought out all these precautionary measures that we should take or we should put into consideration, just so that we can go out with our fellow human beings, or just so that we can associate with our fellow human beings, I'm going to just say something, right? Dear girl, never you blame yourself for any situation that you find yourself in. Now let me break this down, right? In my situation, I would have blamed myself for the misfortune that happened to me by saying, oh, I did not know somebody that knew him, or so it's my fault. It is not your fault. It is not your fault that we have crazy people out there. It is not your fault that there's insecurity. It's not your fault. You going out with an honest mind and an open mind to go out with someone, and something happens to you and people come to say, oh, it's your fault because this happened to you. You came out with a clear mind and a good heart to meet someone. Why should anybody blame you if anything needs to happen. People get sexually assaulted. They'll say yes, because she was wearing a short skirt, that's why she got sexually assaulted. Nobody's looking at nobody's looking at the mentality of the person that even assaulted you. Nobody cares. All they care about is, oh, you did not do this, that is why he did this to you. Nobody wants to address the main issue. I'm here to tell you, it's never your fault. Don't you ever go about blaming yourself for any of these misfortunes or these mishaps that might happen as life goes on. That is even the main reason I decided to start this series, because I want to encourage people out there. Someone would have told me, oh, you went out with a stranger, it's your fault. Am I supposed to go out with my father? Am I supposed to go out with my brother? It's a stranger that I would definitely eventually go out with, or even marry. At least at first, the person is a stranger to you, right? So make sure that you don't go out blaming yourself for any situation. Me, I would have said, I went out late at night, but that was the time that was convenient for me. And sometimes life happens. Really, sometimes life happens. Sometimes we make mistakes that if we go back, we would have said, oh, we would have done things in a different way or whatsoever. But that's why we move. That's why we learn. That's why we grow. Right? That's why we associate with people, and we learn, even if it's not from your personal experience, but we learn from other people's experiences as well. So don't you ever go out blaming yourself for any of these things. People are crazy out there. It's sad that we live in a world where we have to take measures just so that we can live with our fellow human beings. It's crazy. It's honestly, it baffles me every single day. Like, these are people that we share this world with. Like, why do I have to take precautionary measures? Why do I have to go ahead to share my life location? There's insecurity. People, it's crazy. It's sad that this is the world we live in, you know. So I just brought this up because, in as much as we shouldn't go ahead blaming ourselves, we should also try to take measures to make sure that we're safe and none of this happens to us. And I believe that someone out here is listening and learning as well, just so that you don't fall into certain mishaps and things that you should have avoided. So I hope that with these points I'm able to save one or two people, and we just continue to grow and just continue to learn. Alright, so that's all for today. I just hope that this video actually goes out and reaches out to someone and just helps someone to make sure that we continue to stay safe as women, as girls in general. And yeah, so please like and share to anyone that you feel needs this information. So yeah, we've come to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched up to this point, and I'll definitely